Welcome back to Out There, and today I'm fishing on the upper portion of the San Joaquin River above Mammoth Pool Reservoir. Put my boat in at the lake and it was glassy, calm, beautiful. About the time I got to the river inlet, about 5 or 6 miles upstream, the wind started ripping, and you can tell it's just crazy windy out here, but the fishing is okay. I mean, it would be a lot better if I could actually cast, but it's good times anyways. I love it out here, and I'm really out there this time. So stay tuned and we'll get some good fishing on this trip.
Where'er we roam so far from home, to see the world all on our own. Where'er we hear the mighty river roar, adventure waits outside our door. Where'er we stray in the mountain's shadow fair, we all should strive to be out there.
Nice. It's gonna be a good day. Never ceases to amaze me what breaks. The things you totally can't anticipate what is going to break. The switch for my battery selector broke in half. It just disintegrated. I don't know, from drive up here or whatever, but I've got a switch in there that I've got a rear battery and a front battery, and the switch that allows me to select either one for the trolling motor died. So it also allows me to select it for the starter too. So if I need to start the boat, I can use either the front or the rear battery. It's kind of a safety measure, just a little bit of insurance there, but this time it backfired and the switch fell apart. So I had to do some jerry rigging and reconnect the leads, so I can only run on one battery now, but it's a 12-volt trolling motor, so it shouldn't be a problem. I just saw a big fish rise up, just up the lake on me here. So we're gonna work our way up the lake here and pitch some streamers and see what happens. Today I'm using my my 6-weight Scott A2. I actually picked this rod up for $50 when their shop was going out of business. It was one of their training rods so they could teach fly casting classes. So that was pretty sweet. And so I've been able to use this. I've got a sinking line on here. I don't remember what brand it is. Cortland, I think. It's one of the cheap ones, but it's pretty deep here, so I'm using this full sink line and let it run down pretty deep before I start stripping. Well, this is interesting. It's been about, I don't know, 10 minutes since the last video I took there, and the wind is just ripping now. And we got like 20-mile-an-hour winds all of a sudden. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna have to pull up my trolling motor and let's try and head up lake before it gets too rough here. Well, there we go. We're tied up and we're heading upriver. I've got my usual fly rod. It is super windy and I have no idea what I'm really doing here. This may be one of those ill-fated days that is more about the adventure than the fishing. So my boat is going to be totally full of sand by the time I get back. Ah, jeez, sand blasted. But here's to hoping. Well, I found a spot that's mostly out of the wind, but this place is crazy. Man, it's gonna be scary going back down the lake. Hope I can make it. But I got a rig up here. We'll see what happens. Maybe an ill-fated adventure. Oh well. It's all fun and games. There's a good sized fish, actually two fish, but one of them is good sized fish just above the brown rock down there. I'm hoping it's in frame. He went after my streamer and didn't quite grab it, and so I'm gonna try with this. Getting cloudy overhead, which is a little bit worrying. I don't think it's gonna storm, but you never know. So I'm gonna throw some nymphs at this guy and see if I can pick him up. Finally got a fish. It's gonna be a good one too. That's where my net would be handy. Come on. May not drag. Yeah! Woo! Come on, come on. Hold still. Hold still. Look at his head. It's funny. He's so fat. His head's fat. Look at that. Yeah, baby. That's why you come here. Beauty. Yes. This has got to be some of the roughest weather to fish in that there is. It is so windy out here. You can just hear it roaring through the trees. It's crazy. I mean, madness. I mean, I love it. It's beautiful. I love it. But it's not really what I was hoping for fishing weather. But I finally made it above lake level. And so hopefully I'll get into some better water here. I don't know, but it's really nice. I caught that one really nice big one, and then I missed another good big one, and a couple smaller ones. But I got this really big pool right up above me. Awesome. That's why I came here. Yes! Yeah, baby. Let's let this guy go. Oh. Not good. Hit me. So unfair. Another one. Yes. Yeah, baby. Let's let this guy go. It's so windy out here that I can't fish anymore. I was standing on a rock out by the river there, and a gust of wind almost blew me into the river. Crazy. How do you cast a fly rod in 70-mile-an-hour winds? Crazy. They're probably not 70. They're probably like 40. But still, I don't know. I bet you up there they're up 70 miles an hour. Madness. There's this gorgeous tree across the river here. I love these big old trees. Look at that thing. It's an incredible tree. I know there's more big browns in this hole, but I can't cast in there to get them. We'll just have to wait it out, I guess. This is really quite unreasonable.
At this point, I decided to throw in the towel and head home. I get back to the boat, and the wind is just howling, and the sand is blizzarding off the banks on top of the boat, which is totally full of it. The waves on the lake were just white-capping all over the place and blowing off the top of the waves, just spraying. And I started the engine, untied, and pushed the boat off, and the engine died. And then I couldn't get it to restart, and I struggled around with it, and the ignition broke. So now I was drifting down the lake very quickly towards the rocks in heavy waves, and I thought I was going to sink. And so I put the trolling motor in and pulled myself to shore, and when I got to the shore, I jumped out, and when I landed in the mud, or on the shore of the lake, my foot sank to my knee in the mud. And while I was stuck there with my foot in the mud, the boat was drifting away behind me, and I'm just holding onto the rope thinking I'm going to get pulled back into the lake. I finally got out of that, tied it off, and I totally disassembled the ignition and got it to restart again. And then headed down the lake. And once I was moving, it wasn't bad because the wind was at my back. I could run with the waves. It wasn't too bad. But I sure was relieved to get back to the boat ramp and get my boat loaded up. But the adventure wasn't quite over yet, as I was soon to find out.
I just got in the car and realized how much dirt is on my face. That's from all the sand blowing into my face while I was trying to fix the boat and I was hiking along the river there. It's just crazy. Sand all over. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Well, it's 6 o'clock and I've got that many trees between me and the way out, at least to the first way out. I went down to the store and they didn't have a chainsaw anymore. They loaned it to somebody else. So who knows? I'm gonna try and get through this with my axe, but I'm not really hopeful. I think I got some gloves in the truck, so I'm heading for those. See ya on the other side, I hope. What was that scout motto again? Be prepared? I need to prepare myself with a bigger axe, maybe a saw. Because that little axe was a pain in the butt. I'm gonna carry a big axe from now on. But I had a tow strap, I had my axe, and I cut through 3 of those. Towed a whole bunch more out of the way. So I'm gonna go get my boat and hopefully go home. I just gotta squeeze my way through that little gap right there. That's the best I got. Just so you guys can see what I went through to get all these trees out of the road, I'm gonna record my trip down the hill here. This is a fairly impressive amount of work. There's the first tree right there. That was a little one. I thought I was home free when I cleared that one. And then I came around the corner and oh look, there's another one. That one I dragged up from down further. And there's another one over there to the right. I moved. There's the other half of that big one. You can see how bad it is here. I'm really careful. My trailer's a little wider than my truck, I think. So here was where the real work was. Cut that log there and pulled it out of the way. The other half of it's down there on the right. There's another one on the left there. The other half of that's on the right. Making sure my trailer doesn't hit. Looks good. Nice. I'm gonna make it. Let's just hope there's no more trees down on the road down to North Fork. There was a lot of deadfall there too, so it probably came down, but I'm hoping somebody else cleared it for me. There's the last big one there. I'm almost out, almost out. Oh no, there was one more. Darn it, I thought I had it. Bugger. One more tree. Well, I better drop the trailer again. All right, finally ready to go again. Last 2 trees out of the way. One on the right, and then there's another one down here. Littler one that I kind of squeezed by. Just barely made enough room for myself. But I'm gonna make it. Freedom! Yay! Now we'll see if there's any more trees down on the road. But I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day and work all night. Well, I survived another adventure. This boat is surprisingly seaworthy for how old it is. I hardly took on any water with all that splashing and crazy waves out there in the lake. I tried to start the motor too fast, tried to go too soon, and the motor wasn't warmed up, and so I fiddled around and ruined my ignition or messed it up. And then I finally got it to work enough to get the motor started, and I let it idle for a while. But in the meantime, I had to jump into the mud on the shoreline with a rope to hold myself still, because if I'd let myself drift in that water, it would have just mashed me on the rocks. It was crazy. So there's big fish in there, and I wasn't able to catch nearly as many as I should have. I missed quite a few good ones. One of them I missed there was at least 20 inches. I'd say it was bigger than that though. And there was quite a few more that I missed that just a bummer. But I turned my boat into a sandbox, which is pretty awesome. It's totally full of sand. I'm gonna have to take everything out and clean it out. And this poor little truck of mine, I didn't really want to pull it out of the lake either. It was a close thing there as well. So a whole day of close adventures and insanity. And I think God can keep those fish, because I'm not coming back for them. But they're up there and they're big. And if you were so inclined maybe to go up there and find a way to camp and just fish them in the morning when there wasn't any wind, the wind started picking up about 9 or 10 o'clock. And after that, it was just really tough fishing. So until the next time, if you want to catch more great adventures, click my subscription. I really appreciate your subscriptions. It really helps support my channel. And maybe check out one of my other videos. And I'll see you next time on Out There. Sorry, old girl.